Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of Freedom Friday here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I am, as always, your host, AR the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about, obviously, 2A, News of the Week. Bunch of different stuff to discuss here. We got the California assault weapons ban being declared unconstitutional yet again for about the 18,000th time at this point. The fact that Benitez hasn't just said, you know what, fuck you, Gavin Newsom, etc. I'm not putting a 10-day stay on this bitch. Y'all can fuck off. The shit's been unconstitutional for 30 goddamn years or more. Eat shit. It's being overturned now, motherfuckers. Period. End of story. That's what needs to happen on that whole situation there. Then we got Missouri's Second Amendment Preservation Act, which apparently the Supreme Court now has ruled is technically supposed to be not enforceable while it's going through litigation, which is absolute bullshit entirely, because the whole fucking point of 2A preservation, just like what Ohio's trying to do here in a couple of months, is what it'll be. It's a little less than 30 days now is when we're going to have our floor vote for 2A's Second Amendment Preservation Act, will be to basically tell the federal government to go fuck themselves is what it is. It's like, no, you're overreaching. The shit you're pulling right now is unconstitutional as fuck. It can be proven to be unconstitutional as fuck. The fact that the Supreme Court itself even has to do this shit to begin with is fucking ridiculous, dude, because, again, it goes back to the goddamn Bruin ruling that we've had, what was it, like a year ago almost now? And not to mention Heller, that was like well over 15 years ago now, or so, give or take. It was like 2008 or something like that's what it was. But yeah, it's been like all this shit's been unconstitutional for decades, is what it is, dude. And honestly, you can go back to Marbury versus Madison of 1803. Anything that can be looked at as unconstitutional should be looked at as written to begin with. Period. In a story. That's exactly what we should be going by right now. We should be going by a ruling 220 fucking years ago that our founding fathers were involved in. That's the ruling we should be going by right now. And it's like, no, when you're sitting there trying to enforce unconstitutional gun control at a federal level in a state, like, go fuck yourself, dude. There's a whole reason why we have the 10th Amendment to begin with when it comes to, states' rights. So, anyway. But, yeah, we're going to read a bunch of different articles here about different stuff on bearing arms and whatnot, since we haven't done that in a while. So, like I said, you got Supreme Court tells Missouri no enforcement of the Second Amendment Preservation Act. NIMBYs want new Massachusetts gun shop shut down. Armed homeowner fights back against home invaders posing as cops. This is a scary situation. I almost had to have one of these a couple years ago. Actually, it wasn't versus cops or fake cops. Obviously, it was versus two criminals that broke into my home that day and stole one of my rifles then while I wasn't here. And we got mask off, bipartisan gun safety groups, 97%. Exec director joins gun control group Brady, which is obviously nothing more than a Bloomberg subsidiary for those who don't know. Bloomberg has owned Brady campaign since, I believe it was the early 2000s, somewhere in there, like 9/11 time period, somewhere in there, something like that. And then, of course, he, did the Everytown stuff and Mom's Demand, Students Demand, all that shit like that. I think the only one that Bloomberg doesn't technically own is Giffords at this point, the national ones that are anti-gun groups. But yeah, he owns pretty much everyone else is what it is. He owns like 90% of the other ones is what it'd be then. So, yeah, it's all fucking Bloomberg. We got compliance still looking bad for Illinois gun registry. Can't read that one because it's a VIP article. I'm not going to pay money for that. I assume it's basically just saying, hey, people aren't complying with your bullshit gun roster there, Illinois. And nor should they, because go fuck yourself, Illinois. It's a bunch, again, just like fucking dickhead Merrick Garland, who, by the way, holds no fucking power in this country because he was appointed by fucking asshole cheater Biden, who also is the only fucking power in this country. Like, enough is enough of this shit, dude. It's goddamn time to stop listening to these fucking old fucks is what it is. That literally cheated, stole a goddamn presidency, stole a fucking vice presidency, have stolen at least a dozen fucking U.S. Senate seats at this point, dozens of congressional seats at this point. Like, no, you fuckers hold no power. You have no fucking power. You're a bunch of goddamn cheaters. You should be tried with high fucking treason at this point. And the fact that you're not is everything wrong with this country currently, honestly. It's fucking bullshit, dude. Merrick Garland, you hold no fucking power because you're appointed by Biden, who is a fucking cheating piece of shit child molester. Fuck yourself. You're not the fucking AG of this country, asshole. Fuck off. It's as simple as that. Biden, you're not fucking president. You stole the goddamn election in 2020. Go fuck yourself. Etc., etc. Down the fucking line. John Fetterman. Fucking John Ossoff. Randolph Warnock. Fucking, can I keep going? Yes, I can keep going. Who else is a fucking serial cheater right now? Sherrod fucking Brown from 2018. Cheated his way back in the U.S. Senate back then. And nobody did a goddamn thing about it, including Secretary of State Frank LaRose, who's had more than 4 fucking years to investigate the shit. I could give him the fucking paperwork right now that shows the dead people that voted for Sherrod Brown in 2018, but yet this motherfucker refuses to even do his goddamn job as Secretary of State and investigate this son of a bitch and arrest his fucking ass. It's fucking bullshit, dude. And of course, you got a bunch of other ones now, too. Fucking Democrats across the board have cheated in various races in 2020, 2022, etc. for U.S. congressional seats, state rep seats, etc. So, anyway, not to mention stolen like dozens of governorships at this point. You got Whitmer illegally sitting the governorship in Michigan, Janet Mills in Maine, Gavin Newsom in California, Jay Inslee in Washington State, that stupid fucking cunt in Oregon, Tina Kotex. Trying to think who else. Phil Murphy is another one of these cheaters that, cheated their way back into office. Same thing with Kathy Hochul in New York. That piece of shit Josh Shapiro in Pennsylvania, 100%, not a fucking sitting governor. Serial cheater. Easily done with audits and election cycles and stuff like that. If we actually audited fucking elections, we could easily prove this shit very quickly. So, but that's a problem nobody wants to, because again, it would actually mean doing real work and forcibly removing these people from office at this point. Under high treason, under deprivation of cover of law, under stealing of various seats of power, etc. there. It's all felony stuff, by the way. So, anyway. Where was I now? I don't know. I wanted a whole rant there. Oh, yeah. That Illinois gun roster. Oh, yeah. J.B. Pritzker definitely 100% cheated in Illinois, too, by the way, for the governorship there. Same thing with that stupid bitch in New Mexico, Michelle Lujan Grisham. New Mexico gun control activist has strange concern about governor's carry ban. Then we got Kennedy says deal reached to protect veterans' gun rights. I'm assuming that's JFK Jr. Or not JFK Jr., RFK Jr., who, by the way, talked about reparations recently. And I'm just like, dude, we all fucking knew you were a leftist turd. Go fuck off. You're not your father. Your father was like 20,000 times better than you were, dude. And then we got gun control not a substitute for bleed kits. Not sure what that's about. I'm assuming it would be like trauma kits or tourniquets or quick clot or something like that, maybe. Which, by the way, it's one thing I do need to get in my preps one of these days very soon is some couple packs of quick clot then. Because you never know, man. You never know if it's going to, save your life or not there. Thing is, though, it's not, going to be the end-all be-all. Like, obviously, if you have, like, something that's going to require, like, surgery and stuff like that and grid down, like, you're still going to need to have, the ability to perform a surgery of some kind or something like that, or whatever the case be. Now, granted, in that same vein of things, technically speaking, if we're talking about like something that could easily be like, like sort of like seared up, if you want to call it that, you could actually take any kind of like brander thing or whatever the case be, or like any kind of really just put a metal rod for a while into a fucking fire and then just like, obviously, you're going to want to throw some like alcohol or something on top of that then, obviously, because you don't want to get infected and die from infection. That's what it'll be then. So, or if you have like peroxide or whatever the case be, just toss like some peroxide on top of that or whatever the case be then. So, hydrogen peroxide specifically is what I'm talking about. Anyway, let's see what else we got here for different articles. Talking about here, we got New York City home invasion, proof that 10 rounds isn't always enough. It's never enough. You literally need at least a 30-round mag, depending on who the fuck you have coming in your home these days, man. Because again, that's the problem with home invasions. It's never going to be one person. It's always going to be like several people is what it is. And the thing is, even if it is like one or two guys, that doesn't mean that you're not going to have like, misses and shit, because you're under duress at that point. Especially if, God forbid, you can't actually do what needs to be done to, do range time on a regular basis and stuff like that, because it costs so much to do range time and stuff like that in some of these states. So yeah, if you're not regularly practicing and stuff like that, you're not going to be able to hit the target properly. Not to mention the fact that, again, if in fact you weren't able to practice all the time, you still might not be able to hit the target and stuff because, again, you're under duress. You know, you're potentially being woken up a dead sleep when they're breaking your home and stuff like that. So you're like literally all groggy and shit. So yeah, unless you're practicing, self-defense tactics while you're like in twilight sleep, like pretty sure you're not gonna be like all there to fucking hit the targets. Is what it is, man. So, which is something people should probably do, honestly, at this point. You know, like basically like sort of, I don't know what I'd say, like maybe like just like if you're gonna do like something where you got like a day off or whatever, maybe just like obviously you would do it with like dummy rounds in your gun or whatever the case be, like some what do you call this now? I'm trying to remember what the hell I'm talking about now. God, I can't think what it's called now. Snap caps, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, so you load a mag with like snap caps or whatever, and then set your alarm for the middle of the night or something like that. Go to sleep. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Fucking alarm goes off, and then all of a sudden you're like being woken out of a twilight sleep or whatever the case be, because you're doing the home defenses would be then, and you take that gun with the snap caps in it, and you basically sweep your houses would be then, in that twilight sleep and stuff like that. So now, granted, what would be terrible actually is if that same time you're going to do that, if an actual home invasion happened, and then you're just fucked because you have snap caps in your gun instead of actually having loaded rounds. That's what it would be. So, now granted, if that were to happen, that would be some Final Destination level shit, honestly, at that point, man. That was like your fate meant to happen kind of thing, whatever the case be. But, yeah, if nothing else, always carry like a loaded mag. This would be then during the whole thing. So, anyway. But, yeah. People need to practice more, I think, is what it is on various scenarios and stuff like that. We're going to talk about it tomorrow night, by the way, on the Stay Underground Saturday, when the panelists actually show up for once. And then we got, let's see what else we got here. We got Editorial Blast Massachusetts Gun Bill. This is basically a way to do it with carry in the entire state of Massachusetts, which is unconstitutional as fuck, by the way. Again, something that could easily be fixed in Marbury versus Madison. Rulings by the Supreme Court there. Then we got Illinois gunners being iced out of upcoming gun ban hearing, probably. Then we got Benitez disses Bussey in California assault decision. And we got breaking. St. Benitez declares California assault ban unconstitutional. Again, what is like a 17th time now or something. Flint, Michigan makes a smart call on armed citizens. Then we got Gold Blast passage of Lawful Citizens Imprisonment Act. Not sure what goal actually is or what that act is. So we'll talk about that one here in a little bit. And then we got thieves hit Tampa gun range, steal 5 guns. That's actually not a lot. You would think it'd steal a hell of a lot more than that is what it is then. Then we got fruit of the poisonous tree. WSJ and Everytown use internal Remington emails to stir up outrage. Then we got good example of a bad example to address gun violence. Said after House approval, what will Massachusetts Senate do with... Oh, that's what they're talking about. Okay. Yeah, Lawful Citizens Imprisonment Act. That's basically a way for them to fuck over the residents there, gunners and stuff like that. That's what it is. Again, completely unconstitutional bullshit entirely, dude. And then we got media outlet warps reality to sell gun buybacks. They're trying to pull another one of those here in America, in Ohio, I believe is what it is, in like one of the major cities in the state right now. So anyway, we got about that study saying red states have more violent crimes. No, what we have is we have a bunch of fucking leftist blue cities in our states that commit 100% of the fucking crime and spill over into even red areas, which is what happened 2 fucking years ago when I had my firearm stolen here is what it is. Then we got California gun shops now seeing increase in sales. Not surprising. I wonder how many people realize for the first time they have to wait 10 days for a background check is what it is there. So, not to mention even buying ammo and stuff too for that matter, which is completely unconstitutional for that matter too on top of everything else. Then we got Florida judge denies woman her 2A rights over husband's actions. Ooh, that should be an interesting one over that movement. Here's what it is. Then we got another VIP article. Gun control activists admit gun-free zones could lead to more gun thefts. It's not just more gun thefts, it's more fucking gun murder is what it is, dude. Which is why I've said many times before, I'll say it again right now. Shannon Watts, Michael Bloomberg, Gabby Giffords, Everytown, Mom's Demand, Giffords, etc. all need to be in fucking federal prison right now for accessories before, during, and after the fact, because what they are helping keep in place, which is the bullshit gun-free zones that account for at least 97.8% of all gun violence in this country and all massacres in this fucking country. If it wasn't for that bullshit, you would actually have people being able to stop fucking criminals on the spot right then and there. But instead, you have these fucking dickheads who 30-something years ago, back in the early 90s, like 1991 someplace in there is what it was, you had piece of shit Biden and company, Feinstein, etc. back then, along with fucking George H.W. Bush, and I believe it was in the Clinton administration is where it actually took hold at then. You had all these assholes come together and basically say, oh no, we're going to make these gun-free zone things reality now at schools, at banks, etc. And then, of course, what's happened since then? Oh, you had the banks be fine because you've had, people with guns protecting your fucking money now. And really, it's not even your money. It's protecting the bank's money at that point, which actually is your money that the bank is stealing from you, by the way, and various bullshit charges and stuff like that over the time period then. But that's a whole different story altogether. Just like, fuck the Fed is what it is there. But anyway, the entire point of the matter is they protect everything with guns, whether it be, banks, money, etc., vaults, politicians specifically, or the biggest hypocrites of all of them is what it is, especially anti-gun politicians. But yet, they won't protect the most vulnerable in this country, which is kids. Elementary schools, high schools, etc., any public educational system then. Hell, even college campuses in a lot of cases are gun-free zones, which again, it's unconstitutional because, shocker, looking back about a year or so, give or take now, and all the way up through this year is what it is, back to this past summer here and stuff like that. What have you had down at Ohio State's campus? Oh yeah, that's right, a shitload of fucking crime using, in many cases, stolen firearms by a bunch of fucking minorities who are robbing college kids on the fucking campus is what it is. And because you can't actually carry on the damn campus, shocker, you're robbing unarmed victims is what it is then. So, anyway, it's a bunch of bullshit entirely, dude. And I'm pretty sure there actually is a case to be made on that one because of the fact you're walking on a public sidewalk that just happens to, technically connect to a university is what it would be then. I really think there actually would be a case there of like, no, I was on a public sidewalk when this motherfucker tried to rob me and I was legally carrying constitutionally because I can, because I'm over the age of 21 in the state of Ohio, and I killed this son of a bitch in self-defense is what it is then. So, yeah, I think there could easily be a case there on that one if that were to happen. Some armed good guy with a gun to kill some criminal with a gun who was trying to, hold them up for their phone, whatever the case be, burglarize their asses, what it was then. But anyway, I digress. Anywho, going back to the different articles here, then we got op-ed on Texas State Fair misses one key point. By the way, for those that didn't hear about it, there was a shooting at the Texas State Fair the other day. Most likely probably gang violence or cartel violence would be my guess, honestly, on that one, because there really wasn't much of it in the news after that. It was basically just, there's an active shooter at the fucking State Fair there, which, shocker, is a fucking gun-free zone by definition, because just like fucking Ohio, here's what it is. You have everything and their brother basically stopping us from being able to carry legally on the fairgrounds, because even they have gun-free zone signs up there is what it is then. And then even if you can legally carry into the fairgrounds, you can't carry into buildings on the fairgrounds. So they basically, again, fuck you over is what it is then. And that being said, Corey is here. So what's up?
What's up, man?
Nothing much. I was just going over different articles, headlines, and about to.
How many people? Did it say how many people were shot at the Texas State Fair?
I don't think so.
I know there was an active shooter the other day.
Yeah,
and I agree with you. It's fucking bullshit. Being Texas, as pro-gun as we are, and that we have constitutional carry, it's such bullshit that the fairgrounds is a no-go zone because, that's all that shit is. A gun-free zone is just a fucking target.
Well, like I said, there's a reason why Thomas West is no longer in the Ohio State House right now because this dumb motherfucker's district was directly where the Stark County Fairgrounds were. And every year except for 2020, when we really didn't have a fair there, is what it was. You had minority kids down there fighting each other and pulling guns on each other at the age of like 10, 11 years old is what it was there.
Jesus Christ.
To the point where back in 2022, wait, was it 2022? Yeah, it was this past years. So about 14 months ago, give or take. You had it was over 100 plus kids there fighting each other, having a giant brawl, and there was like some Ferris wheel ride or whatever the case be it they knocked into, and it started tipping the motherfucker sideways with people on at the time.
Damn.
Yeah, and the worst part of it was you didn't even have local media cover this shit, and it's like, bro, like, isn't that what news is? Like, a bunch of, like, seriously, you got like hundreds of fucking kids fighting in a fairgrounds. Like, isn't that headline news at that point? Jesus.
That fit their narrative. That's why.
Exactly, and that's what it is. It's because they try to cover up for the fucking, crimes of fucking.
Speaking of Ohio, I saw that the Republicans are taking Jim Jordan off of as their nominee for speaker.
Yeah, I heard about that. It's fucking bullshit.
So who are they gonna nominate now?
I don't know. I heard they were talking about McHenry again. Like going from interim speaker to actual speaker or whatever then. So I don't fucking know.
I saw that too, and I think that's fucking chicken shit bullshit.
It is. It is. Well, here's an interesting one.
It's setting a precedent that we don't need.
Yeah. Well, here's an interesting one too, though. And this is something I learned last night, actually. This isn't obviously gun related, but it's just speaker related then. Steve Scalise and a bunch of the people that were basically rhinoing out is what it was.
Yeah.
All had direct donation ties to the FTX Sam Bankman-Fried guy.
Really?
Yeah. They had a bunch of campaign donations to his ass, which is basically just nothing more than bribery at that point. That's what it would be then.
Yeah.
So
that's how shit goes these days. It's not what you know, it's who you know, and who has more money to buy votes and buy candidacies and shit for whatever.
I was just talking about that like a minute ago. To just 500 mags comment. So going back to headlines before we start reading actual articles here. So we got 2A Activist of the Year has a message for anti-gunners. Then we got California police find 100 guns during child porn arrest. And of course, you got Bloomberg's ass right there, which is kind of ironic. So let's see. Then we got New Jersey mayor sues state over policy allowing cops to use weed. See, gun violence prevention office won't reduce gun violence. No, it's just a way to fucking create more bureaucratic bullshit and pay a bunch of people more money they don't even deserve is what it is now. Let's see. We got Walking Contradiction. Newtown Action Alliance reacts to law enforcement couples domestic violence killing. That sounds interesting.
So you brought up weed wallet just now. Yeah. Here's an interesting tidbit I heard the other day at my doctor's appointment. Not going to say what it was for or anything, but I heard someone ask about medical marijuana. And they were like, oh, if you take that, then you can't take certain prescription medications or get them, meaning like narcotics and stuff.
That seems weird.
Because they were specifically, I overheard it on, I wasn't eavesdropping or nothing.
Yeah, it was just one of those things you walking by or whatever.
Yeah. And the doctor told him, no, if you are doing medical marijuana, then you can't be prescribed any kind of narcotics. I'm thinking, that sounds retarded. That's bullshit.
Yeah. And you got last minute amendments and Lawful Citizens Imprisonment Act would make Bill even worse. This is the one that passed in Massachusetts House yesterday, I believe what it was. 500 guns seized in Michigan. Gun control not a campaign issue in many New Jersey races. Not surprising because, of course, Democrats don't want to be putting their names on that shit anymore. We got second suspect in Morgan State shooting was already wanted by police. That's Baltimore, Maryland, obviously. Gun storage. Advice misses key reasons why people have guns. Yeah, it's called Be Armed.
Yeah.
We got gun sales surging as Jewish Americans embrace 2A rights for the first time. Interesting.
I saw that. I saw an article about that earlier, talking about Jewish Americans buying guns now because of all the threats against the Jews right now. And the article was actually written by someone too.
Yeah, Bay State lawmakers pull a last-minute bait and switch with their Second Amendment crushing bill. So you understand how control doesn't work in Europe. You actually just have knife attacks and acid attacks and shit. So, let's see. Yeah, Texas State Fair shouldn't raise questions. Franklin Armory now shipping binary trigger for Glock 17 Gen 3. That's interesting. Let's see. SCOTUS vacates district court's injunction against ATF's firm receiver rule. That happened a couple days ago. Then we got Pennsylvania Game Commission president says semi-auto hunting a, quote, social issue. I'm going to read this first, actually. That sounds interesting.
The Supreme Court keeps doing that, saying shit's unconstitutional, but then they put us, kind of like a, 10-day stay on it or whatever to give them time to appeal it. And I'm thinking, stop that, man. It's fucking bullshit. If you're saying something is unconstitutional, your word is law of the land, being SCOTUS. Stop giving them a chance to appeal it. So it's like fucking ping pong. It's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I was told to look up
22 LR jackhammer.
That shit looks weird.
That's what I wasn't sure what the jackhammer was. I'm sorry. That's ugly as fuck. And there's no way I would buy that unless it was like $50.
Yeah.
And even then I'd be afraid it might go kablooey.
Yeah, it just looks odd more than anything.
I mean, I'll give it props. It looks innovative. It's something new and different.
Mm-hmm.
I give kudos to it. Thanks for bringing something else different to the market. But personally, yeah, no, hard pass.
Yeah, it looks weird. Especially at that price is insane, man.
What was the bean count?
Like 6 bills.
Fuck that. That's
yeah,
not worth
you're
it
talking
at
about
all.
actual AR-15 territory and like good quality ARs at that point.
Yeah, at that point you could buy, a good AK.
Yeah, we're damn close to it anyway.
No, you could through PSA.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Anyway, going back to what we're talking about, the Pennsylvania Game Commission said a few weeks ago. Person that was writing this covered the blight of Pennsylvania hunter. For years now, Pennsylvania hunters should have been permitted to hunt big game utilizing semi-automatic rifles, but they have not been able to. It's a shotgun-only state, by the way. It's fucking stupid.
Yep.
Since there was legislation passed and enacted in 2016 that charged the Game Commission with writing the regulations to make this a reality, striking their duties for years. So the Game Commission decided to lean on a poll they allegedly conducted. When reaching out to them, none of them replied. Said, person writing this said, did a great message. Did get a message back eventually from the exec director of the commission, Brian Burhans, asking if anyone got back to me. Said eventually he was able to get with official message from the commission, and it's rubbish. Said, if you recall, in 2016, the law put into a statute that semi-automatic rifle may be used to hunt big game in accordance with regulations for that area, but it was never actually enacted what it was then. So yeah, it's a bunch of BS entirely, dude. It's a way for them to fuck over states like mine is what it is too, for that matter. But yeah, it's just a bunch of BS then. Let's see. Let's go to this Texas State Fair article then. Wrong one. Yeah. Jump down here. Why are you? No thanks. Okay. Yeah, it says anytime you get a lot of people in a single place, there's a chance that something bad's going to happen. Truth is, a lot of people aren't good people for whatever reason, so there's a chance you're going to act violently. This happens Texas State Fair last Saturday. 3 people were wounded when a man pulled. Okay, 3 people wounded when a man pulled a gun and opened fire. So now officials are questioning the decision to allow people with concealed carry permits to carry firearms at the fair. Again, you're a constitutional carry state, so it shouldn't fucking matter. So, second weekend of the Texas State Fair, just before 8 p.m., gunshots sent fairgoers in the tower building running. 3 people were wounded. Not long after the alleged shooter, Cameron Turner, was arrested. Let's see if they actually have the arrest record there of this guy. Okay, doesn't actually show. Okay, let's look up this person, though, and see what they... I just assume from the name who they are, probably. Oh, yeah, shocker. Exactly what I thought it was. Yep, there's your Texas State shooter right there. This jackass.
Right, yeah.
So, anyway.
Probably no motive, you know.
Oh, I guarantee I know exactly what the motive was.
But I'm saying they're not
y'all
releasing
bumped
the
into
motive.
me. You knocked my drink over. Stupid shit like that,
It's
probably.
just a perfect example why you got to always carry.
Yep. Yeah, it says Dallas City Councilman Adam Barra, something or other. District includes Fair Park. Said on social media last, I guess this is from a few days ago, is what it said. Guy went to social media. I said about the incident was, quote, sparked from a confrontation between 2 people who knew each other. Okay, so it's basically 2 gangbangers getting into it, probably, most likely. Says, nonetheless, gunfire was frightening, and at least 1 fair employee had to be hospitalized. That's too bad for that person. Said it was also further fueled a debate over safety and gun violence. Says last year, more than 2.5 million people visited the fair, so is it safe to assume that at least that many will come to the state fair park this year too? So as much as we'd like to feel that we always are safe, Saturday night's incident drives home how differently an altercation can proceed when someone has a gun. It's when one person has a gun, not everybody having a gun, dude. According to the State Fair's website, only people who are licensed to carry a gun are allowed to bring their weapon to the fairgrounds, and even then, it must be concealed. So Dallas police say that the shooter was not licensed. Shocker. Probably a stolen gun, too, for that matter.
Right.
Incident was not random. They have not detailed how the shooter got his gun inside. Pretty fucking simple, dude. If you don't have actual, security measures to pat people down or even, various metal detectors for them to go through, they're just going to fucking walk right in with this. What it'll be. It's that simple, really.
You said that they can carry in as long as it's concealed?
Yeah, it says license, allowed to bring in fairgrounds, must be concealed then.
Oh, so you have to be licensed, is what they're saying?
Yeah, so you have to have like
no constitutional carry.
Yeah, exactly, which is absolute bullshit entirely. So, yeah, really just a bunch of BS entirely then.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, this is based on how much of this and stuff I don't want to quote revolves around licensed individuals. One might assume that the shooter had a carry permit. Thing is, he didn't, as noted above. That's right. It says all the bullshit, blah, blah, blah. And of course,
that's
Texas
the sad thing, though, is the fairgrounds is private property.
Yeah, it's a bunch of BS entirely.
It is.
Anyway, let's see what else we got here.
Makes you wonder if they're going to change their policies or if they're going to, get stricter and, and say that no one can carry, even if you're licensed or not.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe. The thing is, though, I know, at least for my county fair anyway, they had a shitload of cops at it, like, every single year, too. Like, it's pretty much the entire, like, actually, when that shit happened, like, a year or so ago, you had pretty much every single sitting sheriff's deputy in Stark County was at that fucking fairgrounds that night. And they also had to call in Canton cops to be backup then.
Damn.
To the point where you had to have another PD that was like the next town or a couple towns over then come into Canton to do the regular patrolling and shit for that night then, because there were so many people that they had to arrest and stuff. Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. And like I said, the fact that it barely made like any even paper news for that matter was ridiculous.
It also goes to show, big events like this is just soft targets. That's why I try to stay away from big crowds or big gatherings. Because these days, you're just asking for something to pop off.
See, we got over the last several months, we've been heavily covering a atrocious scene in Massachusetts. First, there was a dog and pony show of a so-called gun law listening tour. Tour was allegedly to hear from the people about potential new changes to the firearms laws in the Bay State. Gun owners took Chairman Representative Michael Day, the leader of the charade, at his word and participated in good faith. Said Day is someone who got very chummy with the likes of Giffords and the commie mommies before railroading the law-abiding with the bill he proposed. He did not go so well, and it was shelved for the summer. New bill was not any better, just different than the first. So the word on the street is that lawmakers are taking huge strides to subvert a big portion of the legislative process and ramrod the bill into law no matter what. It says Gun Owners Action League, which is GOAL apparently, have been doing work on the freedom-crushing carry killer bill. Massachusetts, the most violent and seemingly corrupt state in New England, already has some of the strictest gun laws in the nation regulating away your rights. Said slipped a bit of information. Want to share about the jackals in Boston, Massachusetts, who think they're being slick. They either want the nightmare to be over and done with, or they can carry on with their pathetic low life lives, or they're happy to stick. It's a law-abiding citizens in any event. Chairman Day and Speaker Marino are doing some supremely shady stuff with their anti-gun wish list. This is what it said about the thing. It said House gun bill has new number again. Speaker Marino plays another shell game with the rules, implementing House gun bill with the number H4135 is a twisted end run around the normal process. Speaker leadership pulled a fast one again. In order to avoid the normal bill process, Speaker had House Ways and Means add the current gun bill language to an existing budget bill. See, that is the kind of scumbag shit that they try to pull here too in Ohio and every other state for that matter, and I'm so fucking sick and tired of this kind of crap. Like, first of all, how the fuck are you going to have a House Ways and Means committee that their whole entire committee itself is to be doing different budget stuff, hear any kind of gun legislation at all? It's just retarded. Like, there should be a specific committee that's like the 2A committee or something for that.
Yeah.
Or Bill of Rights committee or something like that. That's what it should be called, actually. Anyway, so then House Ways and Means, with no public vote record, conjoined and released what amounts to a ghost bill, H 4135, in order to get to the House floor for a vote on Wednesday the 18th, which is this past week. It's keeping on their fast-paced, sleight of hand, Houdini-like procedures. Amendments to 4135 were due the 17th there, so which means that no one will have time to ensure that the language was not changed internally before being released. It also means that people who have no time to review amendments prior to the bill hitting the floor, this bill simply cannot be fixed. Yeah, just such a bunch of BS entirely. So we know that now for that whole thing, so we're going to go and read some of the other ones based on that then that we've seen in the last day or so is what it is here on this whole thing. So
anything else that popped off between Israel and Hamas and everything that surrounds that?
What's that?
I said, is there anything else that's significant that's come about from the Hamas and Israel?
I have no idea. I haven't paid attention to that shit in the last day or so I have no idea.
The only thing I saw was just Pentagon put out saying basically all Americans be on alert type shit.
Right there. Trying to see if there's any other ones here for this.
There's, possible attacks that are imminent within the United States, or at least we're against Americans.
Okay, so I found a couple more articles for this then. So we have this one was from yesterday on here. That was after House approval, what will Massachusetts Senate do with Lawful Citizens Imprisonment Act? This is Massachusetts House Democrats steamrolled gun owners and their Second Amendment rights on Wednesday, approving their latest version of the Lawful Citizens Imprisonment Act on a largely party line vote of 120 to 38. That's pathetic, by the way, that they're that fucking gerrymandered as a state right there. Like, that's even worse than Ohio, for that matter, dude, when it comes to gerrymandering. Because at least ours is only like 60-something to like 30-something, where that's like almost 4 times as many fucking Democrats and Republicans in that state house then. And I guarantee you there's no way in hell that Massachusetts has like 158 counties in it. So there should definitely be a 1 county, 1 rep thing in place. There's what it is. Anyways, after making some changes meant to mollify the unanimous opposition from the Massachusetts Chiefs of Police Association. So a Democrat majority was willing to exempt off-duty cops from the concealed carry provisions included in the bill. Shocker. Always fucking cops having their dicks sucked is what it is there. Said they weren't about to throw lawful gun owners in the state any bones. Instead, while claiming that the legislation will reduce gun violence in the state, House majority voted to subject legal gun owners to a plethora of new restrictions on their fundamental right to keep and bear arms. The revised measure makes slight modifications to where people can carry firearms, completely doing with Byrne decision. Expands the state's assault weapons ban to include firearms developed after 2004. Jesus fucking Christ. Again, unconstitutional. And aims to stem the flow of illegal firearms. So probably anybody making their own shooters would be then.
Right, which we've all do.
Yes, the bill also includes language that prohibits someone from bringing a gun to schools or government buildings and polling locations. So House unanimously voted on an amendment to exclude law enforcement from the prohibition. Yeah, shocker. It says people wishing to bring a firearm into private residences must obtain permission from the homeowner, the bill said. However, businesses could prohibit the carry of firearms onto their property, again, creating more gun-free zones in this country. It says major factor of the bill is also cracking down on so-called ghost guns or untraceable firearms by registering them with the state. Again, just creating a fucking gun rush for future confiscation is what that bullshit is. It says ghost guns are becoming more common. That piece of shit Day guy said he hopes that serializing these firearms will help police track where they are coming from and who's pulling them out on the street. Yeah, it's called legal gunners that don't want to have your fucking bullshit gun roster, you fucking asshole. So the data legislation requires receivers, the part of the gun that contains the firing mechanism, to be serialized, but not the barrels or feeding devices. Okay, so you're basically just serializing one thing, not everything. Well, at least there's that, I guess. Says, is Day really dumb enough to believe that criminals are using home-built firearms to commit carjackings, armed robberies, and drug-fueled shootings in the streets, are going to serialize and register their guns with the state just because of the law? Or does he just assume that his constituents are so ignorant that they'll buy into the ludicrous position? Said State Rep David K. Muradin, a Republican from Worcester, called the legislation an erroneous infringement on all lawful gunners in Massachusetts. He said that creating further legislation on firearms doesn't reduce gun violence. Criticized the gun violence data that the idiot Day cited because it did not differentiate between someone who was in lawful or illegal possession of a firearm. Shocker. They never fucking do. It's just like a whole bullshit with polling where they claim it's like, oh, the majority of people support this. Yeah, it's like 500 people poll for the damn thing.
Right, if that.
Yeah.
That's the whole point with fucking any gun control. It's not for the criminals.
It's anything leftist. It's gun control. It's abortion, everything else like that. They did one here recently, actually. It was Baldwin Wallace College did some bullshit poll for the abortion amendment thing, claiming the majority supported 58%. But yet, when they actually look at the registered voters they had for it, was 850 people, legitimately.
Yeah.
Of the 850, only 750 were actually going to vote. So it's like, yeah, you're a bunch of fucking liars, dude. It was like 400 people that fucking said, yeah, we like this shit.
Yep. Gun control laws is only meant to prevent law-abiding citizens from whatever they want.
And
doesn't get to stop crime or prevent it or anything like that, like they claim.
Going back to what that David guy was saying here, he said, passing such an overreaching piece of legislation where our laws are already some of the strongest in the country, with actual data showing a 2% of death rate in Massachusetts from guns seems extreme, said Peter J. Durant, another Democrat from Worcester. So the legislators need to focus more on prosecuting criminals who would engage in felonious acts instead of restricting firearms. Firearms of any sort are capacity are perfectly safe in the right hands, Let's not leave them only in the wrong hands. Instead, maybe we should focus on social issues that plague our society. Exactly. And that's the problem, though. They don't want to do that because they know it would actually work. They know addressing fatherless homes and shit like that would actually work.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyway.
They'll never do anything that's actually good for, citizens.
Nope.
And they only do what's good for their pocketbooks.
Yeah, exactly. Just like how those scumbags in Louisiana fucked over constitutional carry there for several General Assemblies now because it was all them getting kickbacks for various jobs and stuff they had on this side is what it was then.
Yeah, makes you wonder with a new person in charge if constitutional carry will be on the ballot and get passed next year.
Let's hope so. Apparently, the Boston Herald's even calling this whole thing bullshit, which is pretty bad, dude. Editorial blast: Massachusetts new gun bill. So Massachusetts House passed a controversial gun bill after polling some sneaky shit. Do so, not the way you push gun control bill. You just know will do good for your state. The truth of the matter is that some people never cared about that. Don't like guns and don't want you to have them. Massachusetts, there are a lot more of them than places like Texas or Missouri. So it seems the editorial board at the Boston Herald isn't all that amused either. So when it comes to preventing crime and keeping communities safe, new gun bill passed by Massachusetts House of Representatives is shooting blanks. As the Herald reported, the bill expands a list of banned guns, adding most popular AR-15 styles to the list of so-called assault weapons. It would also require licensed concealed carry holders to secure permission before entering another person's home with a firearm, and requiring additional training for license holders, among other points. For law-abiding gunners, it adds layers of compliance on top of the state's already strict firearms regulations. For criminals, it means absolutely nothing. And this is exactly what I'm saying. Like, all these moms demand action cunts, etc., they're trying to restrict gun rights at this point. Go take a fucking constitutional test to vote, bitches. Like, seriously.
They would fail.
Oh, yeah, they fucking would.
It's like I said the other day, it's like cops. They don't know shit about our Constitution.
No, they
The
fucking
only
don't.
ones that they know and they can recite are ones that will fuck over the people.
It's like I was talking about yesterday, that whole thing in the Wells Fargo in Tennessee with that stupid cunt cop, where she was bitching about, like, oh, lady, you gotta wear a mask, and oh, there's no fucking statute in Tennessee that says so. I'm still an oath-breaking sack of shit, basically. And it's like, yeah, fuck you, ho.
Oh, yeah, the bank one, yeah.
Can't stand that fucking bitch, dude.
I wonder if she got all her money out.
I don't know. She threatened to take out all $20K, so I don't know if she ever did or not, though, but...
No, it was $200K.
Oh, I thought it was $20,000. Okay.
Oh, it was $200,000.
Okay, that makes a hell of a lot more sense then. That's why they probably fought hard then.
Yeah, they told her that they don't carry that large amount of money in the banks, that they'd have to ask for it. And that right there just shows and proves why having your money in a bank is stupid.
Exactly.
Because it's just numbers on a computer for them. Yep. Because the government fucking has all the money. Mm-hmm. So my thing is, if you get your check, cash it and keep it. Or turn it into something else that's actually worth something, like precious metals or something has more tangible currency than just fucking paper.
Yeah. Okay. Trying to grab some of these up right now to just burn through these pretty quick is what it'll be then. So, okay. Grab that one real quick. Grab this one. Grab that one.
I just don't understand why banks don't keep, your money in the bank like they're supposed to.
Yeah, who the hell knows?
I mean, no, at the end of the day, I know, but still, it's retarded.
Yeah. All right, so going back to different articles here, we got this one I thought was pretty interesting, which is a armed homeowner fights back against home invaders posing as cops.
Yep, Seattle cops.
It said 3 home invaders who announced themselves as local police got more than they bargained for this week as their intended target shot at them in self-defense. Trio tried to kick in the front door of the armed citizen's home. It was all captured on homeowner's camera system, included the 3 men scrambling to get off the front porch of the home and then firing back at the resident. Fucking crazy. So
Yeah,
thankfully,
that one.
homeowners weren't injured in the attempted home invasion, and police had high praise for the armed citizens when speaking to local media. That's surprising.
How many got hit?
Huh?
How many got shot?
It just says back and forth between 3 criminals and then the homeowners. Doesn't say if anyone got hit or not.
I know that one, you can clearly see he got shot because he immediately dropped to the deck and got up and ran off.
Yeah, I'm not gonna show that obviously because don't want
of course not. Like that, yeah, so. I understand. But I know at least one of them, the bad guys.
I'm gonna go ahead and keep this for later, just so I can watch it later. But
yeah, I already seen it. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Stay strapped or get clapped.
For real.
I also read somewhere in the comments where someone was saying, basically since criminals and cartels use that method a lot when doing home invasions, they announce themselves as law enforcement.
Of course they do.
They said that you can't trust it anymore if it's real law enforcement or criminals. So it's saying basically use your own judgment and stay safe.
Well, it was just like here about I think almost a year ago now. You had a bunch of motherfuckers who were faking to be cops, pulling people over, and then carjacking them at gunpoint and stuff like that. It was a whole criminal gang. They did like 4 or 5 of them. Last I heard about it was like either May or June, and they haven't caught them or anything like that, as far as I'm aware. They stopped talking about it. So I don't know if they got busted for something else or if they got fucking just went to a different township, then they started robbing other people there is what it was then.
Probably.
So
who the hell knows?
But yeah, it was all Cleveland area, so of course it was that idiot Bibbs bullshit. We got Florida judge denies woman her 2A rights over her husband's actions. Says general rule, people aren't supposed to be punished because of the actions of another. But in this country, punishment is handed out after one is convicted of a crime. This means you don't go to jail because your friend did something wrong. So the judge in Florida didn't see the memo, though. So last week, Florida judge forced Lisa Morick to renounce her Second Amendment rights, give up her Florida concealed carry weapons permit, and remove all firearms and every single round of ammunition from her home, even though she has not been accused of a single crime. If she failed to comply with the judge's unconstitutional order, her husband could have served 19 months in state prison. If she complied, her husband would be sentenced to probation and walk out of the courtroom a free man. Quote, you have a choice, the judge told her, your husband or your gun rights. Wow, can I have a minute? She jokingly asked. Yeah, it's completely fucking unconstitutional, dude.
Yeah, that's bullshit. And a straight up bully tactic. Do what I want, or I'll come down on you even harder.
No, that's when you just need to be, no, fuck you, cunt. I'm taking your ass to the fucking higher courts, and I'm getting your ass as part of the fucking spot, bitch.
Exactly. So, anyway. That's why I do not trust the judicial system. It's beyond unconstitutional.
The one dude that is the reason why I'm a constitutionalist to this day right now that I met a few years ago. He and I had a conversation back in 2020 about this whole thing, and he was basically discussing how the way that the court systems are set up, especially when it looks to family court system and stuff like that, it's been designed just to fuck over fathers completely.
Oh yeah, undoubtedly.
So
I know that all too personally.
Yep. Actually, I heard one recently. It was a guy who, I want to say he was on Tim Pool's cast or whatever, like a month or so ago. And I think he was talking about Texas actually. And it was, he would go down to one of the courthouses there or whatever, every couple of months or whatever, pay some lawyer guy. Because I guess there's like some family court area or whatever on the one side there. And you'll have it literally stretch around the thing. He'll pay the lawyer fees for this dude. All the guys that are in the line pay $1 to be having this guy as their lawyer, and he just sits there all day basically doing their cases for them and making sure they don't get fucked over and get thrown in jail for some bullshit or whatever the case be for not paying child support.
I saw that. I was like, damn, that's admirable right there.
Yeah.
Commendable.
Anyway, going back to this article, though, so Second Amendment Foundation's Lee Williams has a lot more on the subject, so we should go and read the whole thing, then subscribe. Okay, pretty short version. Says Lisa's husband, Ralph, got injured on the job and got addicted to opioid painkillers. Shocker, Big Pharma. It says when the law changed to make them harder to get, Ralph turned to the streets to get his fix. Because of his addiction, he broke the law by shooting around the neighborhood, striking a home and a car. Luckily, no one was hurt. Okay, so he basically was robbing people, is what it was, for drugs, it sounds like. It says police seized all the guns in the home, not just those used in the shooting. Those included 3 that actually belonged to the couple's son, Thomas, which is absolutely, again, bullshit. Since prosecutors offered Ralph a plea deal that kept him out of prison, 10 years probation dropped to a 5-year probation if he completed a treatment program and regularly attended AA meetings. So it seemed they didn't see him as a threat, yet the judge apparently does. Circuit Court Judge Shannon F. H. McPhee heard the case. Governor Ron DeSantis appointed that person to the bench in 2019 to fill a vacancy. This is a guy, apparently. Says Judge McPhee was not willing to be interviewed for the story. However, he submitted a written statement through his spokesman. Yeah, a bunch of BS is what it was there. So, yeah, just some BS statement now. Yeah, what a bunch of horseshit, dude, entirely.
Yep.
So fucking unconstitutional. Oh, your husband did bad, so we're going to steal you and your son's guns. Fuck that.
That's all they want. They want us disarmed.
Yeah.
It makes no sense, especially with the threat over, in the Middle East and everything. I think they'd be like, oh, everybody stay armed, blah, 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 defend yourself.
And of course, you got a new BS study claiming red states have more violent crime. Yeah, I really believe that shit. So it's a great example of someone finding what I failed to notice comes to us from Washington Examiner columnist Zachary Faria. So the unusual response is to blame that violence on the fact that those liberal cities are in Republican-run states because that's where they fucking happen, you jackass. It says this is what Axios did on Monday, parodying a report of the far left-leaning Center for American Progress Action Fund that, surprise, blamed Republicans for gun crime. It says both the report and Axios argue that the findings refute Republican narratives that progressive policies stoke more crime in cities, except they fucking do. It says, after all, most violence was in cities in red states. St. Louis, Missouri, which is a giant shithole in what Cory Bush's fucking BLM terrorist ass represents. Birmingham, Alabama, which is, again, a Democrat-run shithole. New Orleans, Louisiana, again, a Democrat-run shithole. Jackson, Mississippi, another Democrat-run shithole. And, of course, Chicago being the biggest Democrat-run shithole of all of them. So it's not because Illinois is run by Republicans, but because some blue state cities like Chicago are bordered by red states with looser gun laws. Sure. Not they go steal fucking guns at various gun shops all the time is what it is, or buy guns off the fucking streets, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. Do you think we could see like an uptick in the left and everybody trying to push through anti-gun laws with the shit ramping up with Israel and Hamas and possibly?
I mean, they're always trying. And the thing is, it's not even just leftists at this point. You got to worry about the rhinos like a motherfucker, dude.
I'm asking, can we see it like say it doubles, where they're pressing even harder and harder to pass these laws to strip us of our rights? Because at the end of the day, they want us defenseless, so
yeah,
they can institute their new world.
I mean, maybe. It depends, because, I mean, honestly, I know Matt talked about it this week, and I could easily see something where they try to pull some shit like that, where it's like, oh, let's activate another MKUltra agent to do another fucking mass shooting, or whatever the case be. Oh, there's another mass shooting the next day. Oh, there's another mass shooting the next day, et cetera, et cetera. Just have it be, like, continuous, like, war, psyop shit, or whatever the case be. So, who knows? Let's see. Trying to forget which one's on the top about now. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about this one. You got New York home invaders showing why 10 rounds isn't enough. New York City home invasion. Proof that 10 rounds isn't always enough. Never is. So when U.S. District Court Judge Roger Benitez recently handed down a decision of Duncan versus Bonta, declaring California's ban on large capacity magazine violates the Second Amendment, he provided several examples where having a magazine capable of holding more than 10 rounds would have been incredibly useful to the victims of violent crime, where lawful gun owners use their, quote, large capacity magazines of self-defense. Said there have been and there will be times where many more than 10 rounds are needed to stop attackers, Benitez wrote. So, as the judge pointed out, the state of California says, quote, if you think you need more than 10 chances to defend yourself against a criminal attackers, you must carry more magazines or carry more bullets to hand reload and fumble into your small magazine while the attackers take advantage of your pause. So now we have yet another painful reminder of the fact that criminals don't fight fair, this time in New York City, where a Queens man is in critical condition after 8 suspects, at least one of them armed, invaded his home early Wednesday morning. That's when you need like a 100-round drum, man, versus that many people. So his 31-year-old victim was inside his home at 62nd Avenue, 38th Street, around 5:30 a.m. when 8 masked intruders surrounded the home. Says video obtained by investigators through the homeowner shows the crew splitting up into 2 groups of 2s and 3s attempting to enter through the front door, side, and back entrances of the home. Says one member of the group ultimately broke in the front window and made his way into the home. Victim fought back. Said at one point, one of the accomplices standing outside the home opened fire, striking him in the chest and arm. Said crew snatched up $800 and an iPad before fleeing the scene. Jesus.
Damn. That's one reason why I'm glad I have my dogs, because I had dogs and
I don't know if you remember, there was a video probably about, 5 years ago maybe, and it was a group of dudes who were home invading some guy, and then all of a sudden you see them run out and you see the homeowner run after them with a fucking AK. And he just starts blasting down the road is what it was then.
Yeah, I remember that.
Okay. That's exactly what this guy needed. At that point, he needed like an AK or an AR or something, dude.
Yeah, but I mean, still, we don't have 10 rounds, so you'd have to have multiple.
Yeah. I would do like a triple coupler or something like that just to be able to sweep them out real quick then.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Didn't really work though. Let's see.
Train, and because you can have all the training you want, but in a stressful situation as someone breaking into your house, kind of goes out the window, so to speak, because you're not thinking about all the training you might have had. You're thinking about, oh shit, people in my house. So not everyone's a fucking marksman and can plug.
Well, not only that, like as they were saying in that article, it was 5:30 in the morning. Who's to say that guy wasn't in a dead sleep at that point?
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why I said earlier, if you're going to train, one of the things to train would be to randomly put your phone on so it rings in the middle of the night or whatever the case be. Throw some snap caps in a mag or whatever the case be, and just do like a house sweep with it while you're in twilight, and see if you can go then.
Yep.
And just get yourself to that point where your mind is still able to function, even that twilight sleep is what it would be then.
Or be like me, who's a night owl and is up at all hours of the night usually. And like I was saying earlier, I had dogs in every room downstairs house. So, and they're not small dogs either; they're big. So, anyone trying to get in, I'm gonna be alerted very quickly.
Then we got a exec director of a so-called bipartisan group now joins the Brady campaign. This is 97% calls itself a partisan group of gunners and non-gunners and describes their proposed mission as follows, quote, we are bringing gun owners directly into the conversation about gun safety, creating spaces where both gun owners and non-gun owners can have an honest civil discussion about ways to reduce gun-related violence or respecting the Second Amendment. It's called Pass Constitutional Carry and Stand Your Ground nationwide, or go fuck yourself. It's that simple, dude.
And I'll add to that, get rid of all the gun control laws on the book.
Exactly. Get rid of gun-free zones across the fucking board. Simple as that, honestly.
Crime. Arm every American. That's illegally allowed to own a firearm, that is.
Yeah, as Firearms Policy Coalition pointed out yesterday, it said today, in anti-gun groups, the former exec director of the FUD gun owners group, 97%, just joined Brady. Interesting. This is campaign empowering TV and film industry leaders to model responsible gun use and ownership on screen.
Oh, okay, go for
Brady now.
Movies are meant to be like an escape from your day-to-day life. Why are you trying to neuter shit that is in a fucking movie that's make-believe?
Have you ever seen the movie The Art of Self-Defense?
A long time ago.
Oh my god, man. That is, I swear to God, Bloomberg himself wrote that bullshit.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, it stars that idiot Jesse Eisenberg as a dude who wants to defend himself, and then goes into a gun shop, asks for a gun, points it at himself and the clerk multiple times, doesn't understand shit about whatever. Then they're trying to talk about background check stuff and waiting periods and everything else like that, in the whole thing. And then apparently the way the movie ends is him literally challenging some guy in a dojo where he literally just pulls a gun out and kills this guy.
Yeah.
Like straight up murder. And calls it self-defense, and it's like, that's not self-defense, bro. Like, any stretch of the imagination, you're going to jail forever for that one.
Yep. I've seen it.
Just fucking insane is what it really is, honestly.
This world is devolving into more and more insanity.
Yeah, I think it's mostly fueled in part by just all the crazy shit happening right now in this country, but then of course you just got psycho-ass psychos doing psycho-ass shit then.
Yeah, but it's all a part of a larger plan that we don't know about.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we have speculations and we talk about, conspiracies, but again, like I said before, when's the last time that one of our conspiracies, I mean, not us, I'm talking in general, has been wrong? It's been a long ass time.
Oh, speaking of which, that's one thing I did want to bring up for those that haven't heard about it. Some piece of shit judge is now trying to force Alex Jones to pay the $1 billion to Sandy Hook and stuff like that.
Yep, saying that even though if he files for bankruptcy, it's not gonna.
Which is complete bullshit entirely, because obviously, as Honda has pointed out in the past on multiple streams there, you had a prejudgment happen in that whole case. You had them already prejudged that he was going to pay out something. It was just, what was the amount of money going to be is what it was. So he was already guilty before even being in the court of law is what would be there.
My question is,
it's absolute crap entirely.
What happened with free speech in that situation?
Exactly. I could see him actually taking that to Supreme Court at some point. I hope he does, honestly, because it's complete garbage entirely.
He needs to peel the shit out of that because it's fucking ridiculous.
Just take it all the way to the fucking high courts as it would be then.
I mean, he was saying some outlandish shit, but at the end of the day, it's free speech.
Well, not only that, but like, I don't know. Like, I'm not going to go into detail, obviously, because I know YouTube has been channel striking people for shit recently. But the whole point is, it's like, for me personally, having seen what happened there, I've never believed the official narrative ever, and I'll leave it at that, basically. There is way too much shady shit behind everything there, and having done at least a couple years of research after the fact with that whole thing, there could easily be proven that there's a bunch of still living people at this point, honestly. So,
yeah,
to me, it's a bunch of bullshit around the board is what it is there. So, I was going to read a couple more articles, but I'm getting kind of brain tired a little bit here. So, I think we're going to go to Twitter for a couple minutes here, so we'll be, and then we'll discuss a few things here. Let's see what we got here. From Libs of TikTok a few hours ago, we got smug group of students at UCSB, which is Santa Barbara, tear down photos of missing women and children taken hostage by Hamas.
That right there, I'm sorry, is just showing how a sick individual you are to sit there and do that. Because...
And the thing is, I feel like the real problem with our society is that people aren't getting punched in the face enough.
Yeah.
Because you could easily deal with this shit very quickly. There was one I saw, it was I think New York or something like that, where it was a situation of like, yeah, you punch this bitch in the face and she's gonna stop doing this shit real quick is what it is, man.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, by the law definition, that's vandalism. Especially if it's on someone's private property, like a shop or something, and the shopkeeper comes out and cold cocks somebody for ripping stuff off their building. That's private property and it's vandalism.
Okay, so I just saw the video of those guys trying to jack that dude's house or whatever.
Yeah, you can clearly see that one dude gets...
Yeah.
At least one, if not a couple.
Like, how good is that fucking door, man? Or just how big of pussies are these guys for real? Like, is it both? Maybe.
No,
I mean, they tried to kick the door and like fucking like shoulder the door like 10, 12 times before the guy finally popped one of them.
Mm-hmm. One thing you can do to strengthen your door is, the faceplate in the door jamb that your mechanism actually goes into. Uh-huh. Instead of having the tiny little like 1/2 inch to 1 inch screws that it comes with, do like at least 3 to 4 inch like wood deck screws.
After the house was broken into, the back door that got kicked in when they replaced it, he did like it was like a 5 or 6 inch screw into it, if I'm not mistaken.
That right there alone will strengthen it because it won't allow that plate to come off to where just the door will open up. But I mean, obviously, there's other things you can do to strengthen your door. Get like a thicker, heavier door, but that's one simple thing that you can do that helps. Trust me, it helps.
This right here, oh man, you want to talk about why California's a shithole? So this might be the most San Francisco story ever heard. A convicted child molester set up a tent across from a San Francisco school offering, quote, free fentanyl to new users. He has been doing this for 2 years now. Such ridiculousness.
This world's going to hell in a handbasket.
Somebody's talking about 2 women fake crying in, I think it was Gaza, at the hospital site the other day. Or now another video where they're really holding up AKs and shit. Actually, sorry. No, those are not AKs. Those are the M4s that were left behind by that piece of shit Biden in Afghanistan.
So let me ask you a question. Mm-hmm. So we know recently at the Capitol there was an insurrection.
Yes.
I'm sorry, that's straight up what it was. Insurrection led by Rashid Tlaib.
Yep.
Under the false accusation that Israel bombed that hospital and killed 500 plus people. Mm-hmm. Well, we found out not too long after it happened that no, Israel didn't do it. It was fucking rockets from Hamas that hit the parking lot, not the hospital, hit the parking lot.
Yeah.
And killed a couple people. And by a couple, I mean, I think it was less than
50 at most.
Yeah. But she was lying and instigating this crowd to do this, and they did it. How is that not definition of insurrection, and all of them should be held accountable? Because they did something that they accused the January 6 people of doing that they never did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is from a couple days ago. Rashid Tlaib again blames Israel for hospital blast despite evidence of Palestinian responsibility. This is what happens when you allow people who are not refugees to come into this country being her shithead parents and them having a fucking anchor baby child after the fact. Because it's always the second generation that are the biggest scumbags of all. It's just like that guy that did the Pulse nightclub massacre a few years back now. That piece of shit was the second generation.
Yep. So. Rashid Tlaib and her posse needs to be relieved to do effective immediately.
I don't know if you saw this one or not. This is pretty interesting. So apparently this woman was working for, I don't know if it's like DoorDash or what it was, but it was some like delivery service to deliver like groceries and shit to people.
Mm-hmm.
So the woman would not give her a good enough tip, and this bitch was literally holding her shit hostage and refusing to actually release the groceries she paid for.
Jesus Christ. No, I hadn't seen that.
It's fucking wild, man. It's like 3.5 minutes, though, but yeah, it's just nuts. And it's like, first of all, you're the delivery driver for a company whose responsibility is to deliver groceries to people. Like, who gives a shit if you get a tip or not?
Well, they make more money by that's
obviously, but the whole point is it's just fucking ridiculous and shit.
Did she get her groceries is the question.
I don't believe so. If she did it cut off before they happened, then
and I'm sorry if that happened to me and someone refused to give me my property that I own and I paid for, that you were in possession of, that becomes a crime. And 2, I'm liable to treat you like a fucking beanbag.
Yep.
Meaning, like in a gym, whatever those things are called, punching bags.
There was a giant anaconda found in a village in India that I'm 99% sure had something in its stomach already. Maybe the villagers, for that matter.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. There's something in there,
That thing is fucking huge, man. That probably has at least 1 or 2 kids in it, if I'm not mistaken.
or at least an animal, like a cow or.
Anyway,
But yeah, those I love snakes, but when they're that fucking big, I'm like, not today, Satan.
yeah, I've never been a fan of slithery creatures in general.
Well, I find that snakes and stuff. I grew up with them and have an issue with them, but at the end of the day, they represent evil. If you go back to the Bible,
So there is currently Act for America doing a thing to expel Rashad Tlaib for standing with Hamas.
good.
So
Omar needs to
take action now.
AOC.
Okay, I'm not going to do this on camera, obviously, because I'm not going to get my fucking information out on camera.
Oops. Whoopsie daisy.
I will put my stuff down here. That's what it is. So,
Grabby put a link in the chat.
yeah, I'll do that later. All right. Tucker's latest. Hang on, let me grab that and check it out real fast. Okay. Let's see what it says here. Talking about the George Floyd story being a lie. And we knew about that back in 2020, man.
Oh, God, you did.
Dude literally was hooping like a motherfucker on mix of like fentanyl and other drugs.
Yeah, it's like that video that's making its rounds across social media where they're calling the new George Floyd, where that cop pulls over that guy in the truck.
Oh, yeah, like Luke or Dice, whatever the hell his name was.
Like that, yeah, where he tases him and then gets the baton out.
Yeah, and that's what it was. And I actually saw it yesterday is what it was. Him like trying to beat the fuck out of the cop is what it was there, and then getting popped. And then, of course, you had the media show and be like, oh, but this guy was on probation and was such a good boy, kind of bullshit. And yet, meanwhile, you have the other side of it where he's literally choking the cop's ass out, is what it was then. And then wonders why he got clapped. This is actually a pretty good one here, given the fact that we're in such a shit show right now. Since we don't have a Speaker of the House currently, which set of French fries would make a better Speaker of the House than most of these motherfuckers in the race right now? I did not realize that Taco Bell made French fries. And I've never had Checkers and Rallies. I've had Arby's. They're not bad. The curly fries anyway. Never had Culver's. Chick-fil-A is okay. I'm a fan of Five Guys. I'm a fan of Wendy's. I don't think I've ever had White Castle. I know I have Burger King and they're okay. McDonald's are just chemical-based shit at this point. And I never tried Taco Bell's. So, also never had In-N-Out either, for that matter.
Arby's used to be really good with their curly fries, but with anything now, the quality down the hill.
Now that I think about it, I have had Checkers and Rallies before because theirs is more of a it's like a seasoned fry or whatever. I think you can buy them at the store too, if I'm not mistaken. Now,
Wendy's is pretty good. Chick-fil-A, I love Chick-fil-A waffle fries. They're fucking delicious.
I do like Five Guys quite a bit because they'll take the extra little like container thing and toss it in on top of everything else. Then,
never had it.
Yeah, Five Guys is really good, man.
I don't think they have any in the state of Texas.
It's expensive. It's expensive though. I'll tell you that right now. Because it used to be a couple bucks for like a large or whatever, and now it's like I think $5 or $6 for like a large fry or something like that.
Really?
Maybe more than that now I'm thinking about it. But yeah, like their burgers are insane too. I think the cheapest one that used to be having it was like a smaller one that was like $2 or $3. And then the larger ones were like 5 or 6 when I was living in Columbus like a decade ago. And now they're like 10 or 12 for a fucking burger there. And I'm just like, yeah, it's way too expensive, man. So
Like Red Robin in there or some other ones that aren't really nationwide. I don't know.
Yeah, so here you go. It was that when I was talking about Hamas bitches. It says 2 female Hamas terrorists waving guns in video 1, video 2. Same woman pretending to be victims of the bombing while dressed in civilian clothing for the camera. Yeah, fuck these fucking people. Such bullshit. Let's see.
One of the best burger places I've ever had is like several towns away from me. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's there anymore. It was called Nicky D's. N-E-K-Y, Nicky D's.
Yeah.
And oh my God, dude, they were fucking phenomenal. Everything was made to order right in front of you. It was all fresh. They made their own patties, like formed them.
Man in dress led massive protest for Palestine in Washington, D.C. today.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, dude, why don't you take your ass to Palestine there and see what happens? Wear that dress too. Really see what happens to you in about 5 minutes or less. Oh, well, we got a new thing as of 2 hours ago right now. Tom Emmert of Minnesota, the deep state piece of shit for Speaker of the House. Fuck this fucking guy. Let's see, it said, under no circumstance should we be allowed to hold the gavel. Emmert hates Donald Trump and the MAGA base. He voted to certify Biden's bullshit cheat in 2020 and did so proudly. Yeah, fuck this fucking traitor. Let's see. What else we got here now? Let's see, as the head of the RNCC in 2022, he blew the midterms, told candidates in the midterms to distance themselves from Trump. He's been telling everyone who will listen that he won't support Trump's 2024 campaign. He is also a Liberty score of only 69%, voted with the Democrats on gay marriage, voted to pass a $1.5 trillion omnibus bill that fully funded Biden's vaccine mandates. When it comes to Ukraine, he's a rubber stamp for Biden's policies to continue. Has voted in favor of every single Ukraine spending bill put in front of him, and then advocated for that America does more. Yeah, just a fucking scumbag sack of shit in general, it seems like.
Aren't they all?
They are. And this is exactly what have Trump will ever see the power in this country, honestly. Let's see how long this cocksucker's been in office, actually, for that matter. Because I guarantee it's more than a decade at this point. Let's see, 2015. Okay, so not quite a decade, 8 years then. But he probably was like State House or something before that, is my guess, honestly. So, let's see. Oh, can't show that. All right, let's see. This is actually pretty good. These people, I'm not going to show this, obviously, the entirety of it, because it could be dinged or whatever. But, yeah, you had people trying to steal bikes or whatever, and then finding out the hard way that it's a prank, bro, because that seat goes down.
Oh, I've seen that.
Right in the snatch.
It's the hurt.
Yeah. Like, you could tell she's like, oh, my pussy. Although I feel even worse for the guys that got on that bike, because they definitely either got it like right in the nutsack or right in the asshole. Yeah. But again, that's why you don't steal shit, people. Like, you get what you deserve on that one. Don't be stealing nothing, and you're not gonna have a fucking issue then.
Mama always says stupid is as stupid does.
Yep. Let's see what this one is. This is Andy No talking about some dude here. Let's see. Footage has been released of a man who was so angry over freeway exit closures in Portland during an annual Rose Festival parade that he drove through and went on the parade path. Though no one was injured, people thought it was a Waukesha style attack again. Jesus fucking Christ. Fucking clown ass, man. Got Isaac's army talking about Debo being killed for what he knew about the pedophile shit in Hollywood. There, let's see if there's anything else I want to talk about here. There. See, we got our daily dose of cat, just to make sure we can do that today. Little kitty dressed as a witch. I actually found out earlier today that there's apparently a subreddit called Witches versus Patriarchy, which is so fucking retarded. It's one of the dumbest thing ever.
There's fucking countless stupid people in this world, and it's only getting worse since rampant.
Yep. Okay, so going back to the San Francisco, wait, was it Santa Barbara thing with the people yanking down shit? Then we got another leftist city here. Woman in Chestnut Hill, Massachusetts, which has a large Jewish population, was filmed tearing down photos of women and children who Hamas terrorists took hostage. She then turns to the camera and smiles before walking away. Because of course she does, because she's a fucking piece of shit, dude. Again,
dude, I've been
you
watching.
could easily just run up and punch this bitch right in her goddamn face and deal with the fucking problem right then and there. And the bitch ain't gonna be doing that no more.
I've been seeing videos like that coming from everywhere.
There's dozens of them now in the last week or so. It's ridiculous.
And not just in America. I've seen some in like London. I've seen some in.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Everywhere where these fucking scumbags exist in record numbers right now.
Yeah. And it's like, what? You don't.
Shit entirely.
It's in women. It shows that you're a disgusting, vile human being.
Wow.
I agree.
This one is just pathetic right here. I think this is where we're going to leave off today, just to show the shithole of Democrat hellholes in this country, honestly. It says, left clip is from Baltimore, Maryland. The right one is from a random small town in the United States. Both videos narrated by black men. It says, would you rather live in a society where the candy has to be locked behind glass, or do you want to live in a high-trust society? So yeah, in Baltimore, Maryland, they literally have the candy locked behind fucking things where you have to unlock the shit to get a fucking airhead or something like that.
So pathetic. Sad.
And then meanwhile, in regular society, yeah. Oh, wow. They're just like, that's an interesting, huh?
What?
Yeah, that's interesting as hell the way they have that set up there. So it's almost like an outdoor convenience store.
Oh, that's everywhere. I see them all the time around here, and they don't.
See, we said we got them all, everything out and open like that, being able to do that, and you can't do that in the hood because you have a shit robbed everywhere. So it is then.
Things they have like doors that come down that you can just lock, so because they don't have buildings to store the shit in.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The building is big enough for them to house like cigarettes and stuff like that with one person inside the.
I don't know if I really like, because those are just like metal cabinets and stuff. I don't know if I really trust like obviously if you have like the oil and stuff, that would make sense. But like all like the snacks and stuff, like that just seems like it wouldn't be good after a few days or whatever. Especially if you're getting like sunlight hitting directly into like the metal and stuff.
Yeah,
that just doesn't seem appetizing at all. So.
I think I'd rather cold would be better, but hot, yeah. If it's like it has been here in Texas and 100 and fuck you, yeah, stuff like that could be iffy.
This one's pretty good. I gotta talk about this one real quick because this is just funny. Baby boomers allocating a portion of economic prosperity to millennials. Just like the world's teeniest slice.
About right. But yeah, Gabby said something a while ago I truly agree with, and I've been saying for years. If you fucking hate America so damn bad, get the fuck. I'm pretty damn sure that most Americans would gladly pay for their tickets to fly the fuck elsewhere.
Exactly. I don't know if you saw this one coming around this week of this chick who was freaking out about getting a
God, yes.
She is annoying as fuck, man.
She is, but she's bitching because she can't get a job and they're being taken by someone else that has more experience, and she's trying to say her degree is her experience.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not. There's a difference between in-class experience and real-world experience, and they require real-world experience. So you're going to have to start at the bottom. You can't expect to come out of college and get, 6-7 figure fucking jobs because you got some bullshit fucking degree. Well, this bitch fucking eat a dick and choke on it.
The worst part about this chick is looking at her. She's wearing makeup, obviously. So even with makeup, she's still not good looking. But yeah, the entire point of the matter is it's like, and this goes back to something I've talked about with my mom in the past and stuff like that. So the issue there is not only the fact that you have these kids coming out of college and not doing entry level or whatever the case be, it's the fact that you had what used to be paid internships in many cases now being unpaid internships.
Yeah.
Or what used to be what would actually be like like entry level or whatever the case be is now considered unpaid internships in many cases. And it's a bunch of BS entirely because, again, it's like, yeah, it should be a paid thing at that point. It should be a paid position that you're starting at ground level with, and then you're working your way up is what it is then. And yeah, I totally agree. Like, it's fucking bullshit that she's like, oh, I can't make enough money to do this or whatever the case be, so now I'm having to do like drinks or whatever the case be. And it's like, well, that was your decision to go out there and get that degree, lady. So, yeah, it's a bunch of BS entirely. And then obviously she's saying that whole thing while drinking her, $10, $12, $14 Starbucks latte or whatever the hell it is there. And then she wonders why she can't pay rent and shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it really is just entitlement. And again, like, this is the dating pool for people like me, and I'm just like, no, I'm opting the fuck out of that. Nope, sorry, I'm good. Like, I'd rather be alone, single, and happy than have, like, some fucking anchor dragging my ass down like this, honestly.
Yeah, I can understand people, like you saying that they're, happy to not be in the dating scene because of all the fucking women these days. They're fucking not really women anymore.
No, they're not. They want to be men.
Independent so fucking much, and they don't want to, be in what I would consider, a traditional American women's role. They don't care about family. They care about, children reproducing, and it's just it's sad. So I can understand that, but I'm just grateful and blessed I found my soulmate, what I consider, because we've 12 years strong, going on 13. So I definitely lucked out. But if I didn't have her, I'd feel the same way, honestly, about not wanting to be in the dating scene. Because videos like what you just posted up a while ago with that woman whining and bitching about not getting a good job, it's like,
as of 10 minutes ago, White House grounds have been breached. Pro-Palestine supporters have breached the first barrier onto the lawn and are moving towards White House, supposedly.
And that right there is an insurrection at the highest level. And those people, I can't say what I would want to say on YouTube because I don't want to get you dings. But I think you know what I want to say.
I'll say it for you. Yeah, it needs to be cap, motherfuckers.
Exactly, because that's a threat against America. That's a threat against the presidency. Okay. Even though a worthless piece of shit in office right now, that doesn't excuse it, because at the end of the day, he's still the commander in chief. And
this is kind of funny, actually. This
not a
chick. who is pregnant, obviously. Getting spun around. Supposed to be the baby inside. Getting spun around.
I get, yeah, that's hilarious. I don't care who you are. Funny.
And then, of course, it's actually set to the spin me right round, baby right round.
Yeah, exactly. 500. Sorry about your balls, bro.
Let's see. Is there anything else we want to talk about before we leave today? Actually, I'm gonna go confirm that thing's happening at the White House or not, because it might just be some bullshit, honestly.
Yeah, it could be something like what's that one fucking site that is usually satirical? Something B. Babylon B, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
Usually if you see those kind of headlines, you know it's bullshit. Grabby posted another link.
Okay, so this is from days ago.
A judge got gunned down? Damn.
Let's see. Dozens arrested outside of White House. White House from 4 days ago.
And are they going to get charged?
Huh.
That's the question. If they,
I'm gonna go check that Ollie dudes thing real quick and see if there actually is more to that or not. Because I don't want to get dinged for anything stupid. Here's what it is.
Ew. And there's no telling. I mean, you could say something that you would conceive innocent, and they would still fucking ding you. It's like you have to walk on eggshells with YouTube these days.
No.
It's fucking bullshit. It's just stifling free speech.
Okay, check that. I think I shared that one. Maybe. Nope, guess I didn't. Okay, so there's that thing with that idiot rhino there. Let's see. Hour ago, White House witnessed a gathering of Americans standing with Palestine. Okay. 6 hours ago, hundreds of Americans protesting now in front of White House in support of Palestine, criticizing U.S. administration support of Israel. Let's see. 3 hours ago, Byron Donalds running for Speaker of the House. That would be fine too, I think. He's a good dude, as far as I can tell anyway, from everything I've seen from this guy. Let's see, what does this person say? Florida Republican Byron Donalds, who voted to overturn 2020 election, refused to denounce white supremacy and was recently caught fabricating evidence about Hunter Biden. Now plans for Speaker of the House. Fuck you, Keith Boykin, you fucking douchebag. What he really means is he refuses to announce white Americans, what it really is, honestly. And by the way, the Hunter Biden laptop from hell is not fucking fabricated evidence, you fucking clown ass.
Yeah, no. It's been proven time. It's true.
Okay, so that was 14 minutes ago. Okay. Okay, so obviously that's being said about the breach that happened supposedly 15 minutes ago, is what they're saying here. That's from Anthony Hughes at One American News. See, people were saying insurrection, so this is insurrection. We're at Capitol Cops. Good to know Secret Service is capable of the rest of the administration. So those were American flags they're holding. They'd have been tear gassed by now. Yeah, they're all holding like Palestine flags and shit there. So let's go ahead and check this guy's shit out real quick. Here's what it is then. let's see. This is from. Okay, so it wasn't. Okay, so it's from like 3 hours ago this afternoon. That's what it was.
All right, man. Well, I got to take off and dinner, getting it ready.
Yeah, I'm gonna finish up then with that. I think so. Yeah, supposedly it did happen at like 4 o'clock this afternoon or so, give or take, potentially. So
the White House.
Yeah. So
Jesus.
needless to say, yeah, it's time for a bunch of motherfuckers to be hit with 22 years in prison for insurrection acts and stuff like that. In the story, simple as that, really. That being said, that's where we're at for the day. Hopefully you guys enjoy this episode. I will be back tomorrow with Corey and company for Stand Your Ground Saturday. We'll be talking about the first of many two-way scenarios about various things there. Other than that, that's pretty much it for me. Any final thoughts, Corey?
Just basically what we say every day, you know, stay strapped or get clapped. You know, shit's getting real crazy and real quick. I know that's a lot of real stuff, but you know what I'm saying.
Shove an AR pistol down your pants as your carry weapon. That's my advice to everybody right now. Not really, though. But no, seriously, carry extra mags with you just to make sure you have enough ammo with you and stuff like that.
Yep.
So
be careful. Stay safe, everyone.
Yep. Have a good one, y'all. See you guys tomorrow night.
Later.